Hello, my name is James Carter, and welcome to Module 4 of Week 4. I've recorded this video 4 times, and this will be the 5th time. I'm including the transcript because the teacher I interviewed is no longer available for the 5th interview. Question 1. Identify the interviewee and discuss his or her experience in working with underprivileged students. I'm interviewing Dr. Lakita Wesley, and she has been an elementary school teacher at an urban school for 20 years here in the state of Mississippi. Question 2. Discuss the bias of labor market conditions in regards to education attainment, income, and gender. Do you think education can combat or correct these biases? Why or why not? Dr. Wesley answered, yes and no. I do think education can combat these issues, but not correct them. Fighting against gender bias has been a hot button issue for years. The main issue is unfair treatment of womankind and lower wages for women due to society being male-driven. Educators are underpaid in general, but gender bias still affects the pay scales. Female educators are far more underpaid than male educators by more than 10% in my district. And salary increases are only $500 every year, with a starting salary of $34,492 per year. Question 3. Discuss the relationship between family income and students' cultural background and educational achievement. Dr. Wesley answered, sadly, a family's income and cultural background can sometimes play a lot into a student's achievement of academic success. Having wealth is a major contributing factor in the success of some academics. Studies have shown that students with families that make above the national average income have been privileged to better educational opportunities as well as scored higher on testing. Question 4. Does the educator believe that education is the best means for creating a stable, equitable society? Dr. Wesley answered yes and no. Part 2 of that question. Is our current educational system up to the task? Again, Dr. Wesley answered yes and no. The current educational system has been often labeled as being broken because of the many flaws in learning and testing. The current system offers an outline of projected learning, but the actual process is achieved and administered is left up to educators. Part 3 of that question. What change would aid in this endeavor? Dr. Wesley answered, in my district, the parents are often complaining about the Common Core standards and how things have been changed in learning but failed to yield the intended results. Everyone was focused on the testing, but the actual learning process was ignored. You can't expect students to test high without the proper building steps. On to question 5. Analyze the issue of equality of education opportunity. How has the interviewee seen evidence of educational inequality? Dr. Wesley answered, COVID brought on a lot of changes in teaching. At-home learning became an option for some students for underlying health issues caused by COVID. At the height of COVID, the at-home learning program became essential to the teaching process. Students could attend class online and still pass learning milestones. But what the school board didn't consider was the parents often opting to continue the program after COVID slowed down. Continuing the program required a continuation of all of the at-home program until graduation. The problem with the at-home program is it was in place as a permanent program to lead to graduation with the regular high school diploma. The program will lead to a certificate diploma instead. This has caused a lot of issues with the parents who unknowingly continued that home program without the clear understanding. Part 2 of the question: what measure can be taken from this comeback? Dr. Wesley answered, the district should have been clear and precise on the expected outcomes of the program instead of blindly offering the program with an unclear outcome. Parents expecting the same outcome as the traditional learning path. On to question 6. Identity inequalities between schools and school districts that contribute to inequality of education opportunities. Dr. Wesley answered, in my district, we've had a couple issues of educational inequalities. The district is comprised of 6 schools, and over the years there's been favoritism amongst the school. One school received more funding, while another school received the newer certified teachers. The school that received the newer certified teachers was predominantly African American and Hispanic, while the other was more diverse. I mentioned the previous because there's an issue in my district with test scores. The overfunded school received the lowest grade in the district compared to the other 5 schools, while the other schools receiving the newly certified teachers scored the second highest in the district. The parents brought up the funding issue last year at a board meeting and questioned why certain schools received newer technology. The issue when I noticed. Question 7. Discuss the pros and cons of full inclusion. What should be measured? What should be taken by schools to ensure that endeavors are successful? Inclusion is proven to be an important aspect of special education programs. Inclusion offers the child with learning disabilities a chance to socialize and forming peer relationships. The pros are the chances inclusion give the child at developing normal and healthy relationship skills. I had a son that was privileged to be a part of an inclusion class. My son is mild ADHD that went undiagnosed in 7th grade. Inclusion offered my child the sense of belonging and fitting in. Every child should have some sense of belonging and fitting in, and that's what inclusion offers.